Grand Rising, everybody. How you doing? Welcome to Why I Left Religion with Coach Renz. We are about to get started in about 5 minutes. Get this TikTok one up and running. All right. All righty then. There we go. We are on like popcorn. I want to welcome everybody to the show. If you find me for the first time, we deconstruct religion and we follow the path of the Hermetic Alchemist. We do our lives every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and we promote videos every day. Please like and subscribe, and share all the videos on the lives and everything else that we do. It helps to grow the channel, and I appreciate it because that's just how the algorithm works. I'm going to take about 5 minutes to let people get on. Got my cigar ready. Got my coffee ready. We're going to get started on this. I promised yesterday that we was going to talk about can you be more with or without religion? And we're going to discuss that today. As soon as the clock hit 5 minutes, that's when we're going to start. But as we get ready to come on, and I get my cigar, get going, let me know who you are, where you at. Thank you for being here. All right. Just download a bunch of videos to my Facebook page. I'd be greatly appreciated if you would watch those videos and share those videos. I'll probably do a couple more before the day is over. So make sure you share those as well. I hope everybody, today is the last day. Tomorrow starts the procession of the winter solstice. So in case you don't see my other videos about the winter solstice over the weekend, happy winter solstice to everybody. Happy winter solstice. The day will finally stop getting shorter. The days stop getting shorter and the days start getting a little bit longer until we get to the spring equinox. So again, happy winter solstice. So like I said, we do our lives on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Tuesday, we're doing What's Wrong with the Bible. And we are in Numbers. I think we're doing like 24, 25 next week on Tuesday. Which actually next Tuesday is going to be later in the day. Later in the evening, I should say, because I'll be on the road on Tuesday. So I'll be driving. So it'll be a Tuesday night. So this upcoming Tuesday will be Tuesday night. What's Wrong with the Bible? Tuesday night, since I'll be driving. And I look forward to seeing you guys on Tuesday night for that video. And I'm sure as soon as we get back and get myself situated, we'll go on there. Grand Rising Sam, out of S.A. Smith, out of Texas. I like knowing where people are. Got me a Rocky Patel cigar today. Which one is this, by the way? Oh, this is a Decade. This is pretty good. What we're going to talk about today, we're going to, at least for the first hour, y'all got me all thrown off yesterday. We talking and we got all into other subject matters yesterday. But we're gonna stick to the subject matter for at least the first 45 minutes to an hour today, trying to answer that question, having that conversation about can you be moral without religion? Grand Rising Rodney, Kansas City. Give me some barbecue. Oh no, who got the best barbecue? Texas or Kansas City? Texas or Kansas City? Who got the best? Starting a little bit late today because I had a dental appointment that I didn't know I had. Well, it was an impromptu one. But Who got the best barbecue, Kansas City or Texas? The only reason I'm saying it because first two people on here said they were from. One from Texas, one from Kansas City. I like both of them, by the way. So I don't have a bias. But one over the other. On TikTok, I need y'all to get them likes up because, the trolls like to get rid of your channel on TikTok. And now I know TikTok does a age restriction. Gates in Kansas. Is that near the little college area? Something called college something? Kansas City barbecue is similar to Texas barbecue. There ain't a lot of difference to me, in my opinion, but they're both good. Tennessee. What about in Tennessee? All right. So, most definitely in Kansas City, nothing against Texas. All right. Rodney put a stake in the ground. Put a stake in the ground. All right. Enough of that. So with the people that we have on right now, let me ask you a question. Just so that we can have a Knoxville. I like Knoxville. Just so we have a basis. I just want to get a little basis here. How many of you think that you can have morals without religion or relationship? And I put relationship in there because I know later on, or if any of them come on here, they're going to talk about something. It's not religion, it's a relationship. Even though you cannot have this relationship without the religion. But how many of you guys think that you can have morals, or people would have developed morals, or could have, or did develop morals without religion, without a belief in this higher deity or this higher power? That when we look at time, where did morals come from? When you go back beyond the Abrahamic religions, beyond the ancient religions we do know about, would people have innately put morals in their society or have morals in their lives? That's the first question that I want to know. Do you have to have morals? Do you have to have religion in order to have morals? So Bobby Rollins on Facebook says, I do without religion. So do you have to have a relationship without morals? That's the question. I want to get a couple of answers before we get started. I want to see where our mind is at. See if we have some fors and against. Y'all being awfully quiet. Can you have religion without morals? Wait a minute. Can you have morals without religion? Oh, of course, Brian on Facebook now wrote us a whole book. Grand Rising Debbie, or Horizon Brian. Brian W. Morals without the scriptures. The easiest question to answer. There is no need for scripture. Morality comes from your parents' upbringing in their respective environments. How can they choose to teach and raise the children together in their present environment? How they choose to teach and raise their children together in their current and present environment together, and then how outside forces may dictate choice made, which may call to question your morality, which is perceived by others in said society at the time. No religion necessary, just a good heart. Could have just said that. But I understand. No, that was good. Grand Rising Marcus. Brian W., you always here for it, man. That's why I appreciate you. Sam Smith said, for example, the natives, the indigenous Americans did not have their the Christian religion, but they had moral standing. Grand Rising Trauma, Michelle and Lacey. Grand Rising all. So let's go ahead and get this started. And I will emphatically debate to anyone that there is absolutely no need for religion in order for a person to have morals. Grand Rising Tyrone. Oh shit. Tyrone said he's in Brooklyn, New York, and he's an Adventist and likes what I'm doing. I appreciate that. You know, one of the pastors who called me on a regular, who has troubles with still being a pastor, he's an Adventist, and he struggles with it. Liam, yes. Stop lying to yourself and care for all can be seen as the way forward, not just the care for each other, the care for all. This planet is living. We live on her with with other life, with all other life. We're either thinking of all or we're thinking of ourselves. All right. Omoba said that religion is man-made. Morals exist before any form of religion. Example is being kind to your fellow man. Debbie said, absolutely not. No, you don't need religion in order to have morals. Bronx. Oh, he's from the Bronx. Did I read that wrong? Okay, I must have read it wrong. Terrence said he's dating his preacher daughters now. So, and she's so perfect for me, but she doesn't know I'm not religious. How in the hell are you faking it, Terrence? Terrence over there faking it till you make it. Lacey said, I agree. I don't identify with any religion, and I always use my moral compass. Rodney said, I truly believe that one can moral without religion. One can be moral without religion. My parents weren't believers in religion or following a deity. They taught my siblings and I morals, and it's the essence of right and wrong inside of us from birth. So I'll go ahead. Yeah, you don't need religion in order to be moral. And first, let's identify the fact that morality is subjective. Right? Morality is truly subjective, depending upon the time frame that you live in, depending upon what community you grew up in. There are different moral distinctions between different people. For some people, the majority of the world, to marry someone or to have intimacy with someone who is under a certain age is immoral. But you go to some other countries, or if you was able to travel back in time, there was a time frame when a young girl who was 15, 14, since she had her cycle, she was a woman, she was eligible for marriage. Many men who were in their 20s and older would then marry these women, these girls. They're not women, these girls. That was considered moral for thousands of years. So morality is very subjective. Right. Society, as Brian W. said, big facts. Very subjected to society and cultural norms. For thousands of years, for millennials, it was moral to have slaves. It was very moral. Slavery really didn't go out of fashion until the treatment of the slaves in America. The slavery in America is pretty much what took slavery to be outside of the moral compass. But prior to that, civilizations had codes for slavery that were way more humane. And so it was a normal thing. People accepted it, even the slaves. Just echo, make sure your notification bell is clicked on. for everything, and then you should get notifications. But it was for everybody believed in it. Everybody thought it was okay, and it didn't. And it wasn't race based or anything like that. It was cultural and economically based. Whether we're talking about the Romans or we're talking about the Zoroastrians or the Sumerians, the Kemetic people, the indigenous people of all lands. At one point in time, slavery was okay. But like Bobby Rollins said on Facebook, when slavery met Christianity, it took on a whole new extreme. And then it became immoral. And other than it becoming immoral because of this brutality, it also became immoral because of its financial impact. Always follow the money. Right? Always follow the money. And even though, like Brian W. saying, slavery is still going on today, just in different formats, but it's still going on. I gotta put this one up. Echo said, I'm here for now. Freeing myself, being myself. I like that. I'm gonna have to get the merchandise going. I'm gonna get the merchandise going. Took 12 grams last night. Boy. Ooh. Oh. That's a lot. Liam said, can you know God if you're not a believer? If any of the books written for him, the believer of, can you know God if you're not a believer of any of the books written for him by man? Can you know God if you're not a believer? If I understand you correctly, God is a concept. God is a concept. It's a mental creation, as far as we know. The only way a person can truly know God, as we would describe what a being outside of ourselves that manifested everything, the only way you could ever really know it is understanding self and understanding nature. Beyond that, what a man writes is not going to tell you, even in the things that we talk about, even things that I talk about, even in the books that I read, you're still not going to be able to discover divinity through just reading a book and trying to act out the rules of it. Because God is going to be a creation of your own mind. It is not going to be a creation of a group. It's not going to be a creation of a book or a philosopher. It's going to be a creation of your own mind. Right? This is why there's the saying that God is you. You are God. Beyond that, you're never going to, you can't get there. A person who says that I depend on Jesus, I depend on Allah, I depend on, whomever, Brahma. You're always looking outside yourself, never looking inside yourself. What is the old story of the Brahmin story that Brahman and the other guys got together and saw man was mistreating his divinity? So they said, hide it. I'm going to do the short version. Hide it in the mountains, on top of a mountain. They'll find it one day. They'll climb in and find it. Put it under the sea. Well, one day they'll dive down and find it. Bury it in the ground. One day they'll dig it up. But if you wanted to hide man's Godhead, put it in a place that he would never look, which is inside himself. Inside himself. So you have to reach inside yourself in order to find it, because it's all self. If you do believe that man was made in the image of the Creator, then it is the mental aspect of man that is made in the image of the Creator. It is you, because all the universe is a mental creation. All the universe. Junior Jerry asked if I can't remember if we did that as a live or I did it as a video. But I did it either as a live or as a video. King Leopold's letter, the 1883 letter. It was a live or it was a video. It was one of them. That was about maybe like 2 weeks ago. But yeah, hide it within yourself. So with that thought process, and we look at morals, and we look at what men have written. Men have written morals based on the code to which that they live in at that time frame, and they have placed those moralities on some type of Godhead figure based on the time frames that they live. To understand why the God of the Bible, which is the main one that we talk about, since most of us have walked away from Christianity, the God of the Bible is written at a time frame when the people made that God as moral as they were at their time frame, which is why all the heinous things that we see in the Bible are there. And because people are trying to hold on to a culture that wrote about God 2,000-3,000 years ago, with the culture that they had 2,000-3,000 years ago, the science that they had 2,000-3,000 years ago, they try to make it fit into today's world, to which it does not fit. It doesn't fit. And if it don't fit, you must quit. Not acquit, you must quit. We don't want to get stuck on the relationship part of this comment that Terrence said, but he said, I noticed that if a woman doesn't have a relationship with her biological father or a prominent male figure, makes her less than a woman. And the same thing goes the other way. If a man doesn't have a relationship with his mother or a prominent woman, he is generally less than a man, oftentimes either becoming a narcissist or becoming some delta male, some weak joker, some yes man. Having both the masculine and the feminine in your life, driving you to become the greatest version of yourself, is a major and key factor in you developing your moral compass. You take a man that has never had a woman, a mother show him love, or a woman show him love and show him how to nurture, that man will not know how to nurture himself, his woman, or his children. It takes both. I get people always on my channels saying, oh, you claim to not be religious, but you wear religious symbols. Never asking, most of the time, never asking, why do I wear this symbol? Because this symbol is just a reminder to keep my masculine and my feminine energies in balance. Without the masculine and the feminine, you'll find yourself in moral decay. That might be part of the merchandise. If it don't fit, you must quit. If religion don't fit, you must quit. What the hell Brian is saying? What rich man wants to be poor? If you believe in the Bible as a reality lived by real men in a real place in real life, only the poor man becomes rich. Chew on that for a second. I'm not fully understanding what you mean by this, but yeah, no rich man wants to ever be poor. I will agree with you on that one. Now, I do believe that people during the time frame of Hezekiah, this is how they believe that they should have been living their life. And this is why from Hezekiah and Josiah and Ezra, they wrote this Old Testament to fit the motif of how people were living at that time frame. And the motif was animal sacrifices. They knew that their people had been doing infanticide, so they wanted to get away from that. They had been believing in both El and Yahweh, and they wanted to get away from that, so they merged the two together. But they believe that there must be blood sacrifice in order for people to follow this God. They believe that they didn't mix linen and that women were treated substandard. This was their belief system at that time frame in around 700 BCE. And so they pushed that mindset onto their people. And they thought that the reason why the northern tribe of Israel had been going into captivity was because they were disobedient to this God, because they were doing all the things that the Phoenicians and the Philistines and the Babylonians and all of them had been doing. So they believed it was a punishment from their God. They believed their God was all involved like this. Omoba said that, and if I'm saying your name wrong, if I say anybody's name wrong, please correct me. The universal God that I worship can't be found in the Bible or the Quran or with the Anunnaki that masquerades themselves as God. God is God. He answers no religion. He answers the prayers of whomever believes in his mighty power. I can understand that and not trying to take away from your God, but is your God answering your prayers, or are you answering your own prayers? If you pray to your deity for better finances, do they magically appear, or do you have to take steps to better your finances yourself? Make better calculated risk, improve your value to the marketplace, stop spending more money than you make. Is it your deity or is it you? And did those opportunities come to you because you started changing the way you lived your life? And because you changed the way you lived your life, you manifested those things on your own. You see, and if that's for you, then that's for you. But for me, there is no God who is acting like Geppetto with strings on me. And I submit there's no strings on you. You are the creation of your own life. I'm not even going to try to say the first name, but Javier said we're having the Euthyphro versus Socrates more debate. I don't know that debate, so I can't say. But if anybody know who he's talking about, I know who Socrates is, but I don't know the other guy. He said it looks like a little spoon. But no, this is, so the Ankh, if I can get it turned the right way. The male symbol at the bottom, the female ovaries, and then the womb with the creation in the middle. It is basically talking about the law of gender, the law of generation, that without balance in the masculine and feminine, that nothing can be created. I love how you answered that. For that is how I know it also. The book of heaven is already inside of us all. Inside us all. Your heart and mind just needs to be open for you to be able to interpret it for your own way. I am my own God as you are your God. The God for us is the thought of care we share for all. So God to me is thoughts of all who are, who were. I can't read. It's thoughts of all who were, all who is, and all who will be. We always have a choice of two paths, one good, one bad. We are responsible for the consequences of our choices and not to blame another. Now, I've said many times before, although this Bible has some good things in it, the negative far outweigh the positive. Right? So, like in this Bible, one of the misquotes that, what's the singer name? I forgot his dang old name that fast. But he convinced people in his song that the verse goes, God would never put more on you than you can bear. Kurt Franklin. But that's not what it actually says. It says that he would not put more on you than you can bear without providing an escape. Well, that escape is you. It's like, make sure I get the name right. Liam just said, the escape is your choice to go left or to go right. If you are negative or you're waiting for somebody to deliver you or some messiah, then you're always going to choose to go left. You will consistently choose to go left instead of choosing to go right. I was speaking in the form of finances because it's easy to count, easy to recognize, and we can all, no matter where we come from, we can understand it. If you're in a financial negative and you are being pressured by all your bills and everything, you can choose to go left by ignoring it, praying for manna from heaven. You can choose to go left by trying to borrow. But there's always an escape for you to be able to make more money, to downsize, to get your finances in order. The escape is always there. It may take you a while. It may take it'll take some time. It took you some time to get in that situation. It'll take you some time to get out. Oftentimes, it might take twice as much time and energy and effort for you to get out of it than it took for you to get into it. It took me one day to get in debt to the point where I was 112% over my income to debt ratio. One day. It's called I married a woman who had more debt than I can afford. It took me 3 years to get out of that debt. 3 years. It took a lot of work. It took me getting promoted. It took me managing the finances. And we're going to go over that one of these days. The two primary books that taught me how to get out of debt. We're going to go over those. That probably next week. I don't think you really need religion to have morals because values and virtues were taught or learned through observation by your parents and community before religion came out. Exactly, Marcus. Grand Rising, by the way. From the moment that you're born, you are gathering information. You're learning about your parents. You're watching what they do. You're seeing the people who are around you. That is your immediate community. You are learning what is right and what is wrong through the teachings of your parents before you ever know religion. See, we can go back and look at time and say, well, what society has ever had morals but didn't have a religion? Because most of the time, when you just look at it from a societal standpoint, you're going to see that there is a religion that correlates to that society. But when we look at it from birth, you are learning the morals and virtues of your community from birth before you ever learn anything about religion. A 3-year-old does not know anything about religion, can't perceive the concepts of religion. A 4 or 5-year-old can't. I know people are going to say, well, I see the little children and they're singing, they're dancing, they're preaching, they're doing these things. I saw one video where a little kid is laying hands on his parents. That kid doesn't know what he's doing, doesn't have the full concept of anything concerning that religion. He's just following what he's been seeing, what he's been taught. There's no anointing on that child's life. The only the thing that's on that child's life is what they have been learning. So when we look at it from the time frame of birth, you develop morals long before you start to understand what religion is. So the answer is no, you don't need religion in order to develop morals. Is the lion immoral for eating the gazelle? No, he's just doing what nature has demonstrated for him to do. And the lion cubs learn by watching the lionesses and the male lion do their thing. How to survive. Keeping the herds from becoming too great. And this is a sad thing, but Terrence is right. People become hungry for religion and belief during hard times. Some of the most circular people in the world are those who are not hungry, those who are financially stable, They don't need a God. They don't even reach out for a God. They may say it, but they know true in their hearts, true in their mind. They know that it's them. Grand Rising Texas Goddess, Kim Nettingham. What? Echo? My cousin pointed it to me yesterday when I was showing her about you and watching. Oh, you're talking about my Ankh? Well, the Ankh is not a cross, has nothing to do with the cross. The Ankh is completely a Kemetic symbol that is based on alchemy and hermetics. It has absolutely nothing to do with a cross. The cross is an instrument of death. The Ankh is an instrument, is a symbol of life. Grand Rising Stephen, nice to see you back again. Collie. That was the name of one of my motorcycles was called Collie. Listening from the UK. All right, UK in the house. Grand Rising Kemp, glad to see you back. If anything, over these last few millennials, religion has held back man's morality more than it has benefited man's morality. When you look at the primary religion that have moved the world over the last few centuries, well, the last few thousands of years, those primary religions have been the Abrahamic religions. And what have we seen from them acting out the morality of their deity? We've seen slavery. We've seen the treatment of the yes, I am, Tyrone. Yes, I am. We've seen slavery. We've seen the mistreatment of women. We've seen the mistreatment of children. We've seen genocides. We've seen conquest for the sake of these religions. We've seen war for the sake of these religions. We've seen the inquisitions within the religion. We've seen inquisitions. We've seen the shutting down of science. We've seen witch hunts. We've seen more negative things out of religion than we have positive. We've seen women being sterilized because men are trying to control the chastity of a woman, control the way a woman dresses, the way a man dresses, the way a man acts, the way he treats his family. Think about it. It wasn't until the 1970s that a woman could actually claim spousal abuse. Spousal abuse has only been around in America, at least. I don't know the rules for every country, but in America, it has only been around since the 1970s. Prior to that, a woman could not claim spousal abuse. Prior to that, a woman could not claim sexual assault by her husband. Because based on this religion, it was an impossibility. It was something that could not be done. Adultery vacillated, but as far as a man was concerned. But as far as a woman, for hundreds of years, maybe thousands, for thousands of years, actually, yes, only a woman could commit adultery because she was seen as property. She was seen as property. And we know that by following these laws of this book, when society has moved forward, it has held back the morality of man. Right? As Texas Goddess says, the Bible teaches race superiority. Israelites were God's chosen people. That is saying that we are the ones. And there was something I was thinking about today, and I'm going to do another video on it after I finish this one. If God truly loved the children of Israel, then why would he give them a promised land that was so desolate? I don't know if any of you guys have ever been to Israel. I've been multiple times. If I'm going to have a chosen people and give them the best land, Israel is not it. Israel is not it. I'd rather give them the Amazon. I'd rather give them the Congo, or, I would give them a land that was bountiful. I would have given them Georgia and Florida and South Carolina and North Carolina. I would not have given them a desert. Why would I give them a desert, a place that is devoid of water? Well, it's not completely devoid of water, but you know what I mean. It doesn't have that much water. That if you're not living near the rivers, then you ass out. I would put them in a place where they have a good amount of rain, that they don't have to live near rivers and streams, and they can grow and they can eat from the land. It makes no sense. None whatsoever. It just further shows that this is just a dominant religion that came into power under the Roman government. It's as simple as that. The largest force at the time frame of our Julian calendar, beginning in January 1st in 136, I believe, somewhere around in there, that this was the ruling power, and that ruling power 400 years later decided that it was going to be Christian. It was going to follow this desert people's religion. Out of the worst land. It'd have been better off in Malta. Just watched the thing about Malta last night, so that's why Malta came to mind. But Crete would have been better. Italy would have been better. Spain would have been better if I was going to give them some promised land. But that's for another video. That's for another video, so y'all don't get on that one. Grand Rising, wild. Oh. Mary Alice, see, morals. I have told my family, do not call me before 4 o'clock. But what does my mother do? Call me anyway. She lucky when I go see her today, I'm gonna tell her about herself. Look here, lady. I have given you the standard here. But we have grown, like Brian is saying, growth, like choosing to stop celebrating murder music and embracing the harsh reality lived today by others. It's your own community, not race of people, and actively doing things to help bring positive change. That's part of understanding your moral consciousness. I remember going through that for myself. I loved conscious music. Native tongue was my favorite style of music, right? Then gangster rap crushed it. And you can see the moral decay. Oh my goodness. Stop calling me people. That was somebody else. But you can see the moral decay in society as we lean in more to the negative forms of music, the negative forms of cinema, the negative forms of just lifestyles, period. We move into those negative forms, not because of religion, but because of culture. That became the culture of the day. That got popularized. Some people think it did it on purpose. People did it on purpose. But whether it was on purpose or by choice, we still made the choice to follow the herd. The culture decided to change. But look at the religion. The religion is filled with lies. The religion is filled with, oh, Willie D. Gotcha, Willie D. Don't be telling me I better answer my mama. She know the rules. He said, brother, why are you calling it moral decay? So and Javier, you're a black man, so we're going to speak from black people's perspective. From the perspective of black people, In the 1980s and early 90s, when the majority of the music that we listened to was more positive, yes, we still had some stuff that was jacked up. We still had music that was, you had to really, really dig into the lyrics to find the innuendos and the negatives and that sort of thing. It wasn't as in your face. But as we moved into those past the late 80s, early 90s, and the gangster rap and became more popularized, the carrying guns and shooting people. Like when we was growing up, two guys get into an argument, we get into a fight, we live to see the next day. All of a sudden, with the advent of gangster rap, it moved into where they just shoot each other, right? You listen to music today, and you didn't have people talking about, you had Rick James talking about Mary Jane, but I gotta tell you, it wasn't until I was much older, until I was in my 20s, that I realized he was talking about marijuana. But now you listen to some of this music, fam, they telling you is weed and crack right off the bat. I remember being on a ship on my way to Desert Storm, and Silk Hat came out. And, you know, before there were some songs that was, you know, sexually explicit, that had some sexual explicit lyrics, but they were very few and far between. But then, Freak Me Baby. Oh yeah. Freak me, baby. I wanna lick you. And, you know, I saw when music like that started coming out, the chivalry was dying, the romance was dying. Women, yes, men was already looking at women as trophies, but now they became targets of how many can I collect. Oh, I misunderstood you, because I would do that a bunch of times. The individual saw it as correct. So it is moral. So is it moral or not? It is not moral. It is not. Anything that weakens society is, there are some more absolutes. And when it weakens the family structure, so let me not just say society, when it weakens the family structure, when it weakens how we build our families, it actually is, it affects a moral absolute, right? And it breaks down the family unit. Now, one of the things that when I was working in Germany and we did nation building, and there was some nation tearing downs, you know, the first thing that we looked to do was to disrupt the family unit. Many people think that the first thing that a country going against another country would do is to disrupt the politics. But no, the first thing that you have to do is put in place things to disrupt the family unit. This is why people are like, oh, Rome fell because of the Visigoths, or fell because of these people or those people, or because of corrupt or political corruption. No, Rome fell because the family unit decayed. All nations fall when the family unit decays. And the way that you cause the family unit to decay is to separate the family, right? You break the family down. And it's funny because in the Bible, it tells you that Jesus is saying that I come to create division in the family. Father against son, daughter against mother, husband against wife. Separating the family brings in moral decay. Because if you don't have the mother and you don't have the father, then who is teaching the children? And whatever person is teaching the children, they're teaching a one-sided story. And when the kids are learning by what the culture is teaching, and if you got control of the culture, well, I can teach you to shoot each other. I can teach you to rob each other. I can teach you to look for fast money. I can teach you to look at what they did with the housing market. I'm going to teach all Americans that they can go get a house that I know they can't afford in 7 years when the LIBOR changes and they got all these interest-only loans. We're going to crush them. And now we're going to have families that are out there frustrated and angry and financially broken up. And we know finances and sex are the two major factors that breaks up a family. When I got the mother and the father mad, the dad is mad because he ain't getting no sex. The wife is mad because the finances are all jacked up and they losing their house and all that sort of thing. Now they're arguing with each other, fighting each other, and they separate. Now I got the children either living with the mother or the father, and they're getting the one-sided story. So the girls and the boys and girls are not learning how to have a balanced life and a balanced relationship. They're out of balance because they don't have the masculine and the feminine in balance. Now you just raised now you've raised the whole generation that won't have that balance. And they'll continue to not teach that balance. And it's pretty much guaranteed that that damn divorce rate is going to rise higher and higher and higher and higher. And even when they do have some semblance of a family, let me teach the men to be dominant over the wife to the degree that he beats her, that she don't question him, that she lives in fear of him. Let me make sure that it's okay for him to have additional families over there. I can't teach them to come together in polygamy and build. I got to teach them to separate the finances from this house and that house, have two families that he can't afford, having children on both so that there's a disconnection, and he's spreading himself too thin. Like Bobby said, the streets will teach these kids if the parents are not in control of the kids, and they'll have different morals. Grand Rising Charles, the gangster rap, the video games, they're glamorizing violence. And humans, now I gotta admit, humans are somewhat built for violence. There was a news network that tried to come out. It was called the Good News Network or some shit like that. And nobody watched it. Nobody watched it. Because people gravitate towards the negative. If I did 100 positive videos and did one negative video, that negative video may not be the number one video, but it will definitely be in the top 10. Hopefully it will definitely be in the top 10 out of 100. Hopefully you were saying something. I don't know what do you mean by that one, Howard? It didn't come out right. Saying things that I don't like, true, but I'm not saying they're moral. Breaking down the family structure is immoral. If the music is breaking down the family structure, if the fashion is breaking down the family structure, if the financial push is breaking down the family structure, then it is immoral. You see, as Brian is saying, moralistic values are determined by social structure. This is true. It is determined by social structure, but we can decide but we have to be able to decide for ourselves what's moral and what's not. And there are certain absolute morals. Because what breaks down the family unit, what breaks down the family unit immoral? Teaching young men growing up not respecting women because the family structure is broken makes it immoral, because the society cannot survive that way. We cannot grow that way. We cannot become greater that way. Murder becomes easier. Theft becomes easier. Mistreatment of women becomes easier. Mistreatment of children becomes easier. What makes breaking down the family unit immoral? I thought I read it right. But any of those things is immoral, because like I said, there are certain moral absolutes. I think we can all agree that murder is a moral absolute. It's wrong. Stealing, absolute, is wrong. Lying is wrong. Mistreating someone in a way that you desire not to be treated is wrong. Right? So those things, when you have something like that that's causing the family unit to go in those directions, is wrong. I have less followers than you, and I'm speaking. Okay, that's great. I'm sincerely happy for you. I don't know what your point of that comment was, though. Look out here, because it breaks down the family structure. That's why it's wrong. That's why it's immoral. Except for because your sister's 8 years younger than you, you wouldn't date anybody who was 8 years younger than you. I can understand that. I don't know what Howard is talking about it either. This is a good. What's the difference between me saying that it's wrong and God saying it's wrong? The sad part about the God of this, the one that we talk about the most, is God of this Bible, is that the God of the Bible is do as I say, not as I do. Go and murder these people, but yet don't murder. Kill these babies. I'm going to cause this flood to kill these babies. Y'all didn't, Saul, you didn't kill everybody that I told you to kill, so now I'm going to kill you. Don't lie to people. Don't bear false witness and don't lie, but yet I'm going to lie to Adam and Eve. I'm going to send down lying spirits when he was talking to, I think, Abigail or somebody like that. So this God is trying to tell people that these things are wrong, but yet instructs people to do them or does them himself. Don't murder. The Ark of the Covenant is about to fall. Some dude reach out to keep it from falling, thinking he's doing a good thing because you don't want him to touch the ground. And then he kills him. Aaron's sons don't build the fire exactly the way he wanted it to be built, so he kills him. Was it Onan and his brother? I'm gonna kill you. This guy, I'm striking him down. Tell us not to murder, but yet goes and murder when it's convenient for him, when it fits his narrative. Lies when it fits his narrative of what it desires. So that's the difference between me and this deity. This deity doesn't have a forgiving heart, to which people want to claim that it has a forgiving heart, but it doesn't. Another video that I plan to make after this one, I'm going to discuss the fact that this guy says that you must be forgiving, but yet the angels rebelled, and yet there is no forgiveness for them whatsoever. What makes humans so special that we get a track for forgiveness, whether it's through the spilling and sacrificing of animals or this God killing himself to forgive us to himself, this blood sacrifice. But yet his first children, his first created beings, have no forgiveness. But did God really say that? Yes, it's in the Bible. In the Bible, according to the Bible, this guy said it. Plain and simple. All the things I just quoted are from the Bible. It's nothing that I made up. And in proper context. Grand Rising Jeremy. But yes, this is one of the reasons why we don't believe in this book for most of us who are on here. I don't know how else to explain this to you, Javier. Um, there are just universal moral absolutes. This God violates those moral absolutes over and over again. If you do you understand that to kill someone is wrong, to kill a baby is wrong, um, to lie to someone is wrong, to treat women substandard is wrong, and this God does it multiple times over and over again. Now, the moralities, some moralities have been very subjective. Um, it's immoral to, in Saudi Arabia, it's immoral to allow someone to see the bottom of your feet. That's a culturally based thing. But to walk over and stomp the shit out of somebody is immoral. All right. In Second Kings, he sent 2 she-bears to kill 40 kids. How is that the loving and caring God? Right. Don't murder. Oh, you call my God bald. I'm going to send 2 bears to go kill y'all. And it's funny what to me on that one, when Christians try to argue the point where they weren't children, they were young men around 20. Does it matter? They could have been old men. It doesn't matter. When they invaded Jericho, they killed all the old men, all the men, all the women, all the young, and all the kids, and then killed all the animals and burnt the town to the ground. There's no morality in that. Just like we will, but see, think about how we are. We have we are more moral in the fact that we, at least of most countries, have the Geneva Convention, which says that you do not harm non-combatants. Yet this guy kills non-combatants constantly, consistently. This is why Israel feel that they are right to bomb refugee camps and hospitals, because this God killed non-combatants. No, Javier, you've been on here enough times that um, I know where you stand, and I know where you're going. Um, I understand where you're going with your conversation. But that's why I'm talking about moral absolutes. Because regardless of what you were taught, the reason why we have grown as a society is because we society gets to a point where it says, you know what? Whether it's through finances or just humanity, we realize that culturally this is wrong and we need to change it, because it's wrong it's a more absolute that it's wrong. Like slavery is an easy one to look at for that one. Although culturally it was fine for everybody, for most people on the planet. There came a point where people started standing against it, and stood against it enough that more and more people start to see the more absolute of it. And the more absolute is that no man should ever own another man, no matter what the situation is. It's just something that shouldn't be done. Hold on. So, is that Benita? It just dawned on me that's why I called you Howard, because I didn't realize that might have been Benita. Benita Applebone. So they gave us everything. So they gave us everything wrong, but the Bible is correct. So are you going against God? Who is the they? But the writers of the Bible, yes, they gave us a whole bunch of wrong stuff. But the Bible is not correct in any form or fashion. So yes, I am going against the God of this Bible, for sure. Grand Rising Brian B. I'm telling y'all, Brian B and Brian W gonna get together one day. And see, like this, rape is absolutely wrong. It's absolutely wrong. But this guy advocates for it. In multiple instances, it advocates for this wrong, this absolute wrong. Because it is absolutely wrong to violate another person's body. Right? Oh, we conquered these people, kill the old men, kill the fighting men, the old men, the young boys, which is killing children, kill the women who've known a man, but keep the young girls who have not known a man as your wives. So in order to make them your wives at that time frame, it wasn't a ceremony that we go through like today. It was sex. And I'm pretty sure those young girls were not advocating to become those men's wives. They were violated. And this guy approves it. And most people, only the psychopaths, who probably got some kind of chemical imbalance or they was raised in some brutal situation, inherently know when they are doing something that is wrong. They inherently know it. I don't want to get too far behind and y'all coming. So I do skip down sometimes. So if I miss a comment, don't get mad at me. Last one, then I'll stop. You ain't got to stop there. How are you determining objective morality so far you have only stated cultural subjective morality? Before I answer that, explain objective morality for me, just to make sure I'm thinking correctly. Because I know people like to use those two terms, objective morality and subjective morality, right? And you know, am I looking at morality based on my culture? Am I looking at morality based on our time frame that we live in now? I understand that we have morality based on those things, but absolute morality is the morality to which we develop without the need of any religion or any deity. So what the culture says is moral, whether it's objective morality or the culture is subjected to the morality, changes, goes in fashion and out of fashion. But true morality is absolute. How we live as a culture has really nothing to do with absolute morality because the culture is going to change. Okay. Said objective. A hungry person who resorts to stealing food. Does the hungry person have to steal food? They may feel like they do because they feel like they've exhausted all resources and they have nothing else left. I actually understand that feeling. There was a time frame where I had a house with 5 people, well, 6, including myself, 6 people in it, and I'm supposed to take care of these 6 people. I had $27 in my bank account, and there was no other, I didn't see where any other money was going to come in. I couldn't see it at the time. I literally cased this guy. I wasn't casing him at first. I just noticed it. But I pretty much cased this guy who owned this store to see when he was coming out with his deposits. I would still have been wrong to steal from that man. Right? No matter what, if I would have stole the money and not hurt the man, but then still just feed my family, I'm still wrong. It's still an immoral act. So even when you're hungry, to take what does not belong to you is still immoral. It is the softness of our heart that tries to look at the different situations and try to put moral or immoral on it. But the absolute of it is that it is immoral to steal, to take from someone else. And so I had to search out another way. It meant going to every food bank that I could find in Tampa, Florida. It meant going to every government service. And although I got denied by damn near all of them, but it took me going and trying all those services and going through denial after denial after denial. And then I knew I had to make myself valuable to the marketplace. So I did go and I went to school. I knew it would still may take a little bit of time for me to get my GI Bill, and the student loan took a little bit of time. I wound up having to borrow money. But when I borrowed the money, I didn't give impossible dates. Oh, let me borrow this money and pay you back next week. No. Hey, man, I need to borrow this. It might take me 2-3 months to pay you back. If you can't do it, you can't do it. And I'm calling everybody. And I found the way to do it without breaking the absolute moral of stealing. No, I don't think he suggested that rape is okay. I'm quite sure he didn't suggest that. Except just the basis of the debate makes it objective. And some people look at it as objective because it's different people looking at it from different points of view. But at the end of the day, there's no way around it. It's immoral. And I've had people, when I own my popcorn shop and the cigar lounge and the gym, I literally have had people come in and say, hey, I'm hungry. I need to take care of my family. Can I sweep the floor? Can I put the weights up? Can I sweep outside? Can I clean the cigar lounge? This one guy, I would pay him that 20. He would only charge $20 to clean the windows, but I would go ahead and pay him 40 because I understood his situation. And he would come and clean the windows. So instead of stealing, he would come and ask for work. That was him not going to debase himself with an immorality of stealing. Grand Rising Nikki, how you doing? Do you think stealing food if you're hungry or killing in self-defense is immoral? Stealing food because you're hungry is immoral. Stealing is immoral no matter how you look at it. I know the situations are bad. And like I said, our hearts go out to people, but it's immoral. Killing someone in self-defense, if you're left with no resort but to kill the person, then the killing would be immoral. If you're at a point where you have defeated the person, you can walk away from the situation and know that no further harm will come to you, then it's not immoral. Well, it's immoral when you're in that situation. When you get to that point, you can walk away and you know that no harm is coming to you. But when you got the person beaten, unconscious, whatever, and you're still going at them, no. And if it happens in an instant, it's not then it's not immoral, because the immorality happened when they attacked you to put you or your family in danger. That's when the immorality happened, and you are responding to that immorality because you have a right to life. But they but if they try to take your right of life, nah, they are the ones who initiated an immoral act. So I think we can agree upon is that we need a better understanding of the language commonly spoken and how we comprehend it versus how we receive and process what's being said and by whom. Language is the key, understanding the locks. And I agree with you. We do need to understand that better. I'm only putting this one up here, Nick, because it reminded me of a conversation I had with Angelina the other day about foraging for food. I grew up as a kid, and there were time frames where we didn't have food. But the way that unfortunately, there are no fruit trees and shit that's just nut trees that are growing wild in Atlanta too much anymore. But we knew how to forage, and we would go forage for food. Just to make sure y'all know that me and Javier don't have any problems. He loved the discussion. Great channel. Don't y'all get mad at Javier. Right. Look, we would forage and we would find muscadines, because I'm in Georgia. Muscadines and blackberries and pears and apples and peaches and plums. You clean out your digestive system, but you ate and you didn't have to steal. And see, like these people who run into a department store, grab a whole bunch of stuff, and then run out the door, and then they'll justify it by saying that, well, I needed to feed my family, or I'm just hungry. And most of them just doing it because they're just criminals. Just be honest, they are looking for the easy way out. They don't want to do what's necessary. And that's the thing. People who are in pain will look for the easiest way out and then try to justify that out to make it seem like they are in the right to do so. I saw this video some years back where this young girl, she was justifying the fact that she stole from these people because she was saying that they rich, they can afford it. They can afford for her to steal from them because they rich. Makes no sense. I fell way behind again. But Nick is right. People are very weak nowadays. These motherfuckers are weak as shit. And then you think about, why are they weak? Like, I grew up watching my family members work multiple jobs. Yeah, they complained about the cost of things. They complained about opportunities, but they didn't allow those opportunities, the lack of opportunities or the barriers that was put in front of them to break their moral standards. And my grandfather was very big about not stealing. That was like that was the second level thing that could get you put out the family, basically. Sexually abuse somebody, steal, he would cut you off. As far as what scriptures were talked about today, LaQuinn, just different ones, just thrown out there to show the immorality of this deity and how he breaks his own code. So it's very different ones, whether we're talking about killing kids or mistreatment of women or slavery or genocide, all the hits. Now, our justice system, Terrence, certainly have some damn objective morality. It is not based on absolutes. Because as Nikki just said, this guy is the first serial killer. Kills like nobody's business. Steals like nobody's business. Literally taking the Levant from the people who were already there to give it to these so-called children of Israel is stealing land, is stealing resources from those people who were minding their own business, had been living there for generations. He stole it and then murdered the people on top of it in order to gain it. Decimated the Amorites in their 40-year track. And I think it's like 300 others, 300, 315, something like that, other cities, according to this story. We know the story is not true, but according to this story, this is what this deity approved of. Why? Because of his racist attitude. These are my children. They can have whatever I tell them to have. And even within his own people, he murdered. Oh, y'all got a golden calf? I'm jealous. Kill 3,000 of them. Kill them. Fuck him. That man picked up some wood on the Sabbath. Kill him. I wasn't speaking on the current Israelis, but the current Israelis fit it. And why do they fit this? Is because their belief in this book. This land was promised to us by through Abraham. We are the children of Abraham. Therefore, we can genocide the shit out of these Palestinians. Their moral stance on this comes from a book based on a guy who is immoral as hell. Interesting thought from Javier. I take the stance that morality is subjective and enforced by power. The child will steal until the God, known as their parents, teach them the morality or for or against the action, or by the nature animals will take weaker animals' resources, but we don't call them immoral. Interesting thought process. The thing about it, a child doesn't understand what stealing is. They see a toy, they want to play with the toy. That's all they're thinking. And they want to play with the toy as long as they want to play with it. They don't understand possessions at that time. So yes, morality has to be taught to a person because as a child, they don't understand possessions. To them, everything is their possession. The world is their possession. As you grow older and mature, you develop an understanding of the society that you're in and what the moralities are. Those are very subjective to that morality. But there are, and I get that some moral things are going to be that way. But as they get older, they will realize that stealing is not only a moral, a cultural moral, but becomes a moral absolute. So some of the subjectives and the absolutes are the same. But at their core, they're an absolute. And animals don't have senses of morality or immorality because their consciousness is not that developed. Their morality is based on survival instincts. They eat this animal because they are predators of that animal. They eat the grass because they're predators of the grass. It is all about just surviving. Every day in their life is eat shit and replicate. Eat shit and replicate. That's all they do. That's their whole life, right? They don't know anything beyond that. They wouldn't conceptualize anything beyond that. Some animals do show family unity and show that they love and or get sad and have grief, but they don't have the level of understanding that we have of that same thing. So comparing humans to animals is apples and oranges, because you got to be on equal standing of consciousness to be compared to another type of being on the planet. So those two don't really, it's one that's thrown out there quite a lot when people talk about morals, but you can't put animals on the same level. And even within the animal kingdom, you can't compare a group of, I forgot what they're called, but a group of gorillas or chimpanzees to a fly. The level of intellect and consciousness is different. They're on two different levels. And the art of being, we agree on this one. I had to throw this one up here because me and the art of being don't agree on a lot of stuff. But when we do agree, I got to put it up there. But there are a lot of people who won't eat animals or the byproducts of animals because they think that it's immoral, right? I have many vegan associates, and that is their stance on it. Most of them is because of health reasons. Well, no, let me rephrase that. Some of them are because of health reasons, but the overwhelming majority is because they feel like it's an immoral thing to consume another animal. And then I mess with them though. I was like, well, do you not think that grass and plants have consciousness, have feelings? Scientifically, it's been demonstrated. But even though we are a higher conscious being, we still have instinctive natures of survival. And we have to eat to survive. That's our natural instinct. Now, how we go about this thing is a different question, and certainly when we look at it, how this God is, and I saw this guy, he did a great video on it, and I'm going to use his video probably tomorrow or the next day. The fact that a lamb has to be slaughtered because a man sinned against this deity, went against the rules of this deity, is immoral as hell. It's one thing to use the animal for food, clothing, whatever other usage that you can get out of it for survival. It's a whole nother thing that, I mixed two linens and I wore it, so now I got to sacrifice this lamb. I didn't give this guy, I had a baby. This is one of the worst things. A woman has a baby, and now I got to sacrifice these animals, these birds, in order to cleanse myself from the birth of a child. One of the most natural things that happens in the universe. Replication of yourself. But now I got to kill an animal because I'm considered unclean by this deity's standards. And this animal has to die. The bloodletting in this cult shows an immorality of this deity and the people who worship this deity. Now think about it though. Although people don't sacrifice animals today to be forgiven for going against the rules of this God, a human sacrifice had to be made in order for them to be forgiven by this God. Instead of this God just saying, I read your heart. You feel bad. You know you were wrong for slapping the shit out of that man over there. I forgive you because I know your heart. You forgive. Why is it that we as humans do a better job of forgiveness than this God? We do. A spouse cheats on another spouse. You violate the sanctity of your relationship. The person shows that they are earnestly in their heart are remorseful for what they did. the other person chooses to forgive them or not, if the person chooses to forgive them, there was no animal sacrifice for that forgiveness. They just had to demonstrate that they were truly repentant of that act that they did. When my oldest girl was younger, and she thought that she was going to talk to her mother however she wanted to, I didn't require her to sacrifice an animal or to believe in the sacrifice of a Jesus. No. First, you're going to apologize sincerely. But to ensure that you apologize sincerely, these are the things, this is how you're going to have to live for the next week. So that you learn that that's not acceptable. Right? After she demonstrated it, and after she realized why what she did was wrong, she gained forgiveness. Because when she first apologized, and I remember this clearly, when she first apologized, her mother said, "Well, I forgive you." I said, "No." I stopped her mom. I said, "No. Do not tell her that you forgive her, because she hasn't demonstrated that she learned why what she did was wrong. Once she's demonstrated that, then you can forgive her. Because otherwise you're letting her off without her learning why it's wrong to talk to your mom, to talk to you that way." So that, and she still remembers, my daughter, that moment of time taught her that just because somebody says I'm sorry doesn't mean that they actually are, that they need to demonstrate that they truly have changed their way of thinking and change how they're going to act towards you. But no human sacrifice was needed. No animal sacrifice was needed. How is it that a person can give better forgiveness than this deity? Doesn't make sense. But people follow the blood sacrifice. They got to have their blood. Yeah. What LaQuinn just said right here. Yeah. Y'all share this stuff. Why does she have to demonstrate? It sounds like a sacrifice. It's not a sacrifice. It's a change of behavior and a change of thought process. And that's why she had to demonstrate it. Because if she knew that all she had to do was just say, "I'm sorry," and everything goes back to normal, then where's the lesson? Where's the sincerity? Where's the growth? There is no growth. None whatsoever. Think about it like this, Javier. The cycle of abuse in a relationship. The abuse happens. The man or the woman says, "I'm sorry." They treat them with kindness. They get angry again. The abuse happens again. Until the person shows that they have actually learned the lessons from the abuse, they have not, their apologies are insincere. Their love is insincere. They haven't learned anything, right? Haven't learned a damn thing. So she had to, that's why you have to demonstrate it, right? Like when a person who has wronged me and they come back and they apologize, I normally tell them, "We'll see. We'll see. We'll see if you're sincere. We'll see if because you're just upset. You're apologizing because you got caught. Because what you thought you did or what you said or whatever, you thought you were right when you did it and when you said it. We'll see." I published a video earlier today where I was talking about it is the pains that I've experienced in my life that has caused the changes in who I am. We are built to make our greatest changes by experiencing pain. Therefore, for a person to truly repent or apologize for something, they generally have to receive some type of pain. I'm not advocating for physical pain, but it has to be some type of emotional pain that occurs that changes a person. I talk about when I talk about when I owned a gym and I was a fitness guy, which I'm far from right now. We're gonna change that. We're changing that, so y'all be ready for it. I used to tell my clients who were vacillating back and forth, I gotta find your pain point, because there's a pain point that I gotta find in your mind and your emotions, your mind and your heart, that's actually gonna cause you to then change the way you're living your life, the way you're eating, the way you're sleeping, the way you are exercising. I got to find a pain point, because just the desire to be healthy is not enough. The desire to, look better is not enough. I got to find that pain point. And so I would go through these extensive processes of getting into their mind. And actually, my onboarding program process that I use for people when I'm getting ready to coach them, that actually developed when I was a personal trainer, because I would take my clients through that process to find their pain point. And once I find their pain point, then I can help them change. When you're raising children, when you're dealing with people, if they don't hit a pain point, they're going to keep treating you the exact same way. I know men who were very abusive in their relationships, but it wasn't until that woman left them and took their children or took their money that the ones who did changed. Because the pain of losing their children, losing their woman, losing their money, that was enough pain to make them say, you know what, the next time I'm in a relationship, I'm not going to be that way. They had to feel that emotional pain for them to change. And that pain hits them in their moral absolutes. They come to the moral absolute recognizing that no one deserved to be treated the way that they were treating that person. They themselves would not want to be treated that way. I actually dealt with a person, and it was hard for me. It was hard. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. It was hard. I did not want to coach them at first, because coaching a physical abusive person and a mentally abusive person, because I wanted to whoop their ass. I did. I wanted to beat the shit out of them. Personally, I had that. It was all up in here. Every time I talked to them, I wanted revenge for the persons, right? And getting them to understand that they would never want to be treated the same way that they were treating their wife and their children. I had to take them through a process of meditations and diving deep into their own and feeling the emotion and feeling the pain themselves, in order to get them to start understanding what they were doing. And when he was able to internalize that pain himself, that is the only thing that changed him, was him internalizing the pain that he was causing. I know I missed a lot of y'all comments. You're wanting emotional pain to learn a lesson to prevent bad behavior. Is the same logic you say this guy you hate in God. Nah, it's distinctively different. I can see where you may think that would be similar, but it's distinctively different. It's never set up that, hey, I'm going to murder you if you don't love me and believe in me. That's the God of this Bible is a mental and physical abuser, right? I mean, if this guy was able to experience the mental and physical abuse that it so-called gave to people, this guy would never require it of people. So there's a very distinct difference in that. Because what this guy called bad behavior, it's not bad behavior. Not in most of the instances when it's doing this punishing. Oh, y'all complaining about not going into the promised land? Fine. I'm gonna send some poisonous snakes to come and bite the shit out of y'all because you're complaining. I'm gonna send a plague to kill you. Oh, y'all got a problem with Aaron and his son? Oh, I'm gonna make the earth swallow y'all up. Miriam, you complain about Noah's wife? I mean Moses' wife? I'm gonna give you leprosy. It's completely different. Like asking white folks in the US today if they would enjoy living today in this very country as a black person makes them question themselves, even if it's only in a private or in a mirror. Yeah. Um, I remember asking Stat Sergeant Green that one time. He was a racist, and every now and then he had these moments of clarity. And I asked him one time, would you want to be a black man living in America today? And he was like, hell no. And I was like, why not? He was like, nah, I see the shit that y'all got to go through. And so I asked him, so why do you put us through the same very shit that you wouldn't want to go through? If you wouldn't want to go through it, why put us through it? If you wouldn't want somebody to come up and stand in front of you and say that all the guys of color are not going to get promoted on me, how would you feel about that? He was like, I would hate that motherfucker. I said, well, why do you think we hate you? He got a little bit better, but maybe one day he got over their racism. I don't know. But he had these moments of clarity. But there are these absolute moralities. And there is one way. This is why I stick to, and the only commandment that I would ever give is simply to treat other people exactly how you want to be treated. Don't do to other people what you wouldn't want done to yourself or those that you love. If you follow that mindset, then you will follow the absolute moralities. If you can imagine a world today where that's what people that was the only commandment of people. If this God truly wanted to make man worthy enough to be in heaven with it, if it didn't have this narcissistic mindset of I want y'all to worship me and bow down to me and all of that, then the only commandment that would have ever been needed was to love your neighbor as you love yourself. That's it. And what's sad is that that's not even the greatest commandment. The greatest commandment is to love this God. That's the greatest one. Love this God with all his fucked up issues. Grand Rising Daisy. Love this God with all his issues, with all his problems, with all his rules. But if it had but the greatest commandment should have been to love your neighbor as you love yourself. That should have been the only commandment. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. Would you like to be conquered? No, I don't want to be conquered. Then don't conquer someone else. Would you like to be stolen from? No, I don't want to be stolen from. Then don't steal from other people. Would you like to be berated? No, then don't berate other people. Like most of the time, I can't say all the time. Most of the time when somebody cuts me off in traffic or does something stupid in traffic, most of the time I don't blow my horn. I don't give them a finger. I don't yell at them. I don't do all those things. Every now and then you catch me in the wrong moment. And I might say a little something, but I have to quickly say, no, you know what? Renz, you was wrong. You was wrong. Because I know if I accidentally, because I have accidentally cut people off or swerve towards their direction or something like that. And I know I didn't genuinely try to do it on purpose. I don't want to be blown at. I don't want to be cursed out. I don't want somebody just going the rest of their day all pissed off. So I don't do it to other people. Nikki, I know you do. I already knew before she even typed it. I already knew that Nikki was like, "Yeah, I'm cussing everybody out." But no, I don't, because I don't want anybody to treat me any way that I don't want to be treated. Right? Good point, Javier. Because if the people don't love you first, they wouldn't listen. I'm being saying they wouldn't listen to your commandments. That's why it's the first to love the Lord first. I understand. I understand the psychology of that. The difference is that I would teach people to look within themselves for their divinity and stop looking for me. Why does a God need love? Why does a God require love? If a God needs something, then it's not God. It's not a God. If you are in need, you're not God, because your needs are stronger than who you are. The needs are stronger. So you still shouldn't need love. Be a good God without having to force people to love you. Just say that this is how, hey, look, I made this world. This is what I need y'all to do. Just take care of each other. Take care of each other, take care of the planet. That's all I need. Because I know if you're going to take care of each other, take care of the planet, then and you make it up to my level where you're up here living with me and you got that mentality, then you're going to take care of heaven. Because in heaven, you're going to be taking care of each other and taking care of heaven. As a parent, is it nice when your children give you credit and adoration? It's great. But I had to realize when I was raising my children, they weren't born for me to have adoration. They wasn't born for them to be obedient to me. They were born because, I wanted to procreate. I wanted to have children. I wanted to have this little joker here that looks like me and, just to see it. And then the only thing I ever required of them was to treat people and treat themselves and treat people with dignity and respect. That's it. If they love me for it, great. If they don't, it's gonna hurt my heart. But I'm only human. I'm just a human. I'm not God. Right? And well, I shouldn't say I'm only human because I'm way beyond humans. But fact of the matter is, I didn't require that. I didn't require their love. I just required them to be good people, to take care of themselves and the people around them and take care of the space, the earth around them. That's it. That was the biggest message that I pushed towards my kids, is to do that. But because we live with these damn humans, I did have to teach them, be mindful of these jokers. But this God who requires all of that other shit, he went into it with the wrong agenda. Your statement would be valid if the love of this God was actually love. But the love of this God is not love. Even in his own writings, love is not jealous. Love is not quick to anger, but yet it's jealous. It's quick to anger. And Brian, I am with you. It is far easier to love people as an individual, because once they turn into a group, everything gets categorized into that subjective morality that we talked about earlier. Because even one of my best friends, I've told him plenty of times, as a white guy, I love you and I trust you. But if things broke up into this country to where we had to take sides as groups, I might still love you, but I can't trust your ass. Because you might fall into the, hey, I got to protect myself and my family. And since these people who look like me and we're against you, the people that look like you, I wouldn't be able to trust you. Couldn't do it. I told him, you have to be one of those people that say, look, fuck the ones that look like me. I'm gonna be on your side. And he understood it. And I believe he said something to the effect that he just had to become Switzerland. Yep. And even the ones that look like me, because all skin folk ain't kinfolk. I have some of them motherfuckers I wouldn't trust. Why do people pray for a belief, closed book, heart and mind, when you can choose to give thanks for the knowledge of knowing? Open book, open mind, open hearts and mind. I'm shocked that the Bible hasn't gone out of fashion earlier, but I don't think the Bible is going to last another 100 years. I really don't. I don't think it's going to last another 100 years. As we continue to grow in our morality, which we're getting back on a path of higher standards and higher morality than the people of this book. Right. And we agree with that. I judge people, individuals, by the content of their characters. But I know humans are sheep like a mother. And based on the picture, Art of Being, you'll be in the worst case. If things ignited and it was a race war, you'd be in the worst case. Because both sides are not good. Neither black, if it's black against white, you're in a situation where both sides is going to not trust you. Both sides are not going to trust you. And I'm not saying that I'm against interracial relationships. I'm not at all. I don't give a shit. But that's the worst case scenario of a civil disruption that you would face. If that was the case, if I was in an interracial relationship and America broke up into a race war, I'd just leave the country. Y'all just gonna fight this on your own. No, I agree. I'm not saying the Bible won't be here in 100 years. There will still be some people. There are still 300,000, 400,000 Zoroastrians. But I think the numbers of people still believing in this Bible will have dwindled greatly in 100 years. I think it'll be a much smaller group. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if Buddhism is one of the major religions in Buddhism or Taoism is not a major religion in the next 100 years. So, replacing or supplanting Christianity and Islam. And as much as they like to say it, Judaism is not one of the major religions in the world. I don't know why they always say that. There are more people who are Hindu than Jew. And I think there might even be more Buddhists than Jew. But it won't be a major religion in 100 years. There'll still be some people. But it won't be the top. And the number still might be 2 billion. But in 100 years, this planet might have, 30 billion people on it. I know there's a number, I've seen it before, of how humanity has been scaling up in numbers, but I can't remember what it was saying in around 100 years, what the expectation would be, providing there's no things like a pole shift or meteor strikes and all that sort of thing. No Ellie events. think this your first time. B.402. Y'all be killing me with some of these tags. Since a child, I've always questioned the way of living I was taught and chose to seek the information on my own. Ever since then, things and life opened up to me um, from personal experience, and I knew my life was based on my own choices and understanding why why I was really here. I actually said something to that effect in a video I posted today, that questioning all the things that I've been taught is what led me to where I am and the peace and abundance that I have. I am finding, and this is another thing that's going to kill Christianity and Islam, is they refute other religions but believe in karma, which is really karma, and that's a Buddhist principle. Yeah, and I see Christians and they're wearing unks and getting unks tattooed on them, and they're talking about chakras and energy. Christianity will die, or it will become like Buddhism. The thing about that statement, Art of Being, he said, if the numbers die, Art of Being, I forgot. Are you the guy or the young lady that's in the picture? Um, he said the God of this book, that the numbers will dwindle. That would not be surprised. That would not surprise the God of this book. However, he does have a plan. Remember, yeah, that plan has been said to be coming forever and a day. Forever and a day, they've been claiming this plan is going to come. The great falling away. But what's interesting is that pretty much every religion has had this idea of a great falling away before the end time happened. Whether you're talking about the Kemetics or the Zoroastrians, because they had a great falling away. Um, but pretty much every religion has this fail-safe in it, that when you see all these people turning against our religion, then that means the end time is coming. Well, these other religions had that, but their end time didn't come. Their end time prophecies never happened. The Bible book has the same ones, but it hasn't happened. And the thing about it, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. This is the part of Buddhism that will be a struggle, but Buddhism it'll morph. It won't be the same type of Buddhism as it is today, where you have to remove all your desires, because just having the desire to not have desire is a desire. Honestly, I the only reason I said Buddhism will be larger, because I think Buddhism will be larger, but I think more and more people will move to Hermetic alchemy, uh, not even realizing that that's what it is, because they're going to be following those seven Hermetic principles. Um, they will be working with energy and chakras and things of that nature, and it will probably be called something else. They like to call it New Age this or New Age that, but it'll gain some title, kind of like Hyperion. I don't know what Hyperionism is. I haven't studied it. I haven't listened to enough of my guy's stuff when he's just talking about his stuff. But it'll be some other name. It'll probably be some other name. So you're right. I'll give you that one. It won't be necessarily Buddhism. Yep. Been waiting on this Jesus got to come back forever. He still ain't came. What's come to pass? What end time prophecy has happened? None of them. Nathaniel, welcome to the channel. Oh, Natalie, sorry. Natalie, welcome to the channel. I don't have my glasses on, Natalie, so forgive me. Since it's, but I like to give, when people first come on, I like to give their comment, throw it up there. Since it's about time, all understanding the true story of all these sibling rivalries, division, jealousies, traitors over Adam's disobedience to Eve out of the protected Garden of Eden that ended getting raped by prehistoric beasts, Homo sapiens, barbarics that gave birth to the twins, elders, Africain and Lilith, that procreated together, anciently known. Yeah. Okay. That's your theory. That's nothing against you, but that's one of those things where I see that people are trying to make the Bible fit into some type of esoteric morality thought process today. That's not what people believe who wrote that. Yeah, what was that comment? Unless they make the end times happen on purpose, I wouldn't put it past the sons of bitches to not go to be left out. And there are literally people throughout history who have tried to make the end times a real thing, try to make it happen, and yet they all fail. They all fail. And of course, after it fails, people are like, well, they were false prophets. And this whole idea of the rapture wasn't even created until the 1800s. There was no such thing as a rapture before then. Nobody thought about that. Yeah. No, you're right. But most of the time when people write in all caps, for some reason, reading in all caps is hard for me to read. If it wasn't for them being the first time on here, I wouldn't put that up there, because I know I struggle with reading all caps. Do you know of a time frame where you think the use of religion like Christianity or Islam was beneficial to certain groups of people in America, for Black folks, white folks, and other races? Christianity was only useful for the people who dominated. That's the only time it was useful. Caucasians was able to use Christianity to dominate America, to take America, to take Africa, to take India. They tried to take China, but it failed. But it was only useful for them, for that group. If you want to dominate a people, most religions are very, very useful. But to the people being oppressed, it is not useful at all. Yes, some of the comments I do rush past because people are writing too many comments. I got people on both Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok, and Twitch, and I try not to get too far behind. But I agree with you and said you're right. Many things have to come to pass before Christ returns. If you read the Bible, you should know those things. No, you're absolutely right. Though those things, there are things that have to come to pass, and none of them have. And so I get it. I misread it. Like I said, I'll misread some stuff on this because I'm trying to read quickly and not get too far behind. But those things are not coming to pass, have not come to pass. And they were supposed to come to pass before this generation had passed, which that generation died a long time ago. All those apocalyptic writings were not for today. Those were for that generation, that 40 years after the supposedly Jesus walked and died. So those things were supposed to come to pass according to the time frame of this book. somewhere around 73, 74 AD. And they didn't. They didn't. And the reason why is because it was a created story, but they didn't come to pass. Revelation in 666 is actually speaking of Nero making a return, because many people in the Roman Empire did not believe that Nero was actually dead and that he had went and joined the Seleucians, and he was going to come back with them and reconquer Rome and subjugate the people. So they were talking about their time frame, not our time frame, not even slightly. But because people want to try to force this book to be in their time frame, they have looked at things that naturally happen, whether it's by nature or by the will of man, and say that that is a sign of the end time. And every time they're wrong. Every time they are wrong. Oh, you're referring to people like the Nation of Islam, Black Wall Street, or maybe the Amish. How did the Black Wall Street use religion? I don't remember Black Wall Street using religion. Valid. Nation of Islam. It was beneficial to them to use the curved version of Islam. Ultimately, their plans failed, but it was beneficial to Black folks, especially up north, to use that to better their lives. So religion has been used to better people's lives. The Amish people probably claim that their lives are better. The Mormons would claim that their lives were better. So people have used religion to better their lives. But stuck in between the tooth of all of it is a nasty, grotesque piece of rotten meat. Nation of Islam perpetuated racism, which is not good and detrimental to them. The Amish people and people like the Mormons perpetuated racism as well as isolationism, which pushed away generations. Natalie, when people write in all caps, other than that first time I put it on there, I ignore it because one is terrible to read, but there's no need to yell. You're not a psychic, but you know shit's gonna get worse here with disease and wars. Of course. And things are gonna get better too. That's the cycle of nature. Disease come through, immunities are created, or immunities naturally happen, and then the people grow from it. So you know what was a pretty good example of that was the movie Eternals. Even though some people didn't like that movie, I actually like it. Uh, One of the things they talked about that they would need to increase the population of man, and for man to use its ingenuity to increase its population. But some of the methods utilized for that was war and disease and famine, because out of pain we get better, and we are poisoning the shit of ourselves. So yeah, there's going to be some more of that stuff happening, and people are going to believe that the earth doesn't have enough resources, so people are going to do it. You saying that people use religion to bomb Black Wall Street? The niggers were doing good without their religion. Yes and no. Them black people in Black Wall Street, they were most of them were fully Christian, all kind of Christian. Now they fought back, but they were fully Christian too. They But Christianity was used to kill them as well as to create it. Well, this is where I'm gonna disagree with you a little bit right off the bat, Liam. Where are you from, Liam? If God is neither good or bad, no, I'm saying the God of the Bible is bad. But what if I deem something as a created being? That created being, yes, is neither good or bad. When you look at it from the Hermetic alchemical mindset, the creator is mental, is mind, intelligent mind. It's neither good nor bad. It is both, but it doesn't Geppetto our lives or all involved in our lives and come down and strike people dead and all these sorts of things, right? So there is no reason to fear the all. The all doesn't care about your feels because it doesn't have these feels. Wow. But why should we fear him? And so we don't. Would it not be Satan that we should fear? Why? Satan ain't that. Okay, so Satan, I'm always going back to the original. Satan is just means administrator, but the Satan that they've created, the doctrine of Satan, should not be feared either, because the doctrine of Satan is that Satan is not judging you and deciding whether you're going to go to heaven or go to hell. In this book, what they have made into this doctrine of Satan, Satan didn't kill, but what, 9 people? But to you, hell is a construct of the mind, which it is. Hell is just the negative portions of your brain. That's it. It's you. Just like the all is on the scale of both good and evil, and just on different parts, just on a different part of the scale, so are we. We can decide today to be evil as hell, or we can decide today to be good as hell, which is so interesting way that we say things like that. I'm gonna be good as hell. But right, what hell is to me may not be hell to you. And you should for your angelic self. I'm in agreement with you on that one. Grand Rising Sora. Oh, by the way, I know Dwayne is probably the only person, but I'll be in North Carolina. I'll be in Wilmington, North Carolina this weekend. So if anybody want to meet up and you're in that area, let me know. You're in Australia? I figured you was either in Australia or the British Isles. I can always count on Nikki. Can always count on Nikki. But here's the thing that what's so important about what she is saying, and to keep it within the context of morality, that negative portion of who you are, you can either fall into worship of it, which creates it's one of the things that does create a lot of the messed up things in this world, especially with the psychopathic people. Or you can make that thing worship you. The same with fear. Like the doctrine of Satan really comes out in your fear, anxiety, your guilt, your shame, those kinds of areas of your emotional turmoils and your negative thoughts. But to raise your consciousness means that you make it fear you. You control it. It does not. It has its usage. Fear is useful. Fucking bear come busting in this door. The fear of that bear is going to cause me to react or respond. Now I only have a 9mm right near me. It ain't gonna do much to a bear, so I need to get the hell out. That fear is good at that point. But how people fear somebody because of the color of their skin, it's not good. I fear somebody because they Russian or they're Chinese and the government's fighting against each other or whatever. That's not good. That causes you to do stupid shit. It causes you to do the worst thing. When you give in to fear, I know people didn't like that movie. What was that movie with Will Smith and his son? After Earth. The biggest thing I took from that movie, one of the big things I took from that movie, is when it talks about the fact that fear is you creating something that's not there, creating something that hasn't happened yet. Even though I know false evidence is real, some of that shit is real. But giving into the fear is what allows you to lose. Good question. If the all has no feelings, then where did feelings come from? Feelings come from the construct in the less grosser, lower vibrational matter plane that we exist in. You see, we exist and to put it dimensionally, we exist in a lower dimension than the all. So we can give in to the different emotions. It's not that we don't have them. It's not that the all doesn't have them. It's just that the all is not ruled by its emotions. And the goal of all of us, all Hermetic alchemists, the goal is to get to a point where you're not ruled by your emotions, but you rule your emotions. That makes them inert. I know it doesn't sound quite human, right? But instead of me, see, because I had a higher conscious state than my children when they were small, they were ruled more by their emotions when they were smaller, right? My goal, because I wasn't as ruled by my emotions back then, my goal was to teach them not to be ruled by their emotions. The difference in most of these religions is that the deity is being ruled by its emotion. The emotion of jealousy rules the God of the Bible, especially in the Old Testament. It is ruled more by jealousy than anything else, because the actions it demonstrates are the actions of a jealous person. So because of that jealousy, it gives into anger, it gives into vengeance, it gives into all these different emotions, which makes the emotions more powerful than the deity. So our goal is to become less ruled by emotions and to be able to utilize those emotions in their proper perspective. Not to say, oh, you don't want to worship me, so now I'm going to hate you and I'm going to do all these things to you. You weren't born at the right time, so I hate Esau, but I love Jacob. This God is ruled by emotions. The all is not ruled by emotions to say that I hate Esau and I love Jacob. That is picking sides. Esau actually demonstrated more control over his emotions than Jacob. Jacob was always, oh, I don't want to go back with Esau because he may be mad at me. Esau was like, you my brother, man. I know we had our shit in the past, but you my brother. Come on home. So Esau wasn't ruled by any vengeance. He lost his birthright and all the things. He stayed home and just built his shit back up. And he didn't allow those emotions to rule him. Oh, Esau married a Canaanite woman. God gotta hate him. What does marrying a Canaanite woman has to do with anything? If this guy wasn't ruled by emotions, but he was ruled by emotions. Oh, so you're being feeling. All right, cool, fine then. I don't like you anyway, Dwayne. Now, how about that? I'm down the road. Are you saying you're down the road from Wilmington? If a lot of people don't know this, but Wilmington had a massive race massacre. They spilled enough black blood into the water, into the Wilmington, into the river that it turned the river red. Wait a minute, I didn't mean to hit that one yet. When Baltimore, actually, once after we move to Wilmington, we will make excursions up into that whole DC Baltimore area, especially DC. I haven't seen my cousin in a while, or I haven't seen my niece. More importantly, I haven't seen my niece in a long time. So I'm definitely going to DC to see my niece. When I say God, I mean thoughts of all, not a God of any book. Okay, gotcha. Gotta be specific, Liam. No, Hermes Trismegistus is not the all. Hermes Trismegistus is just the Greek combination with Thoth, and it speaks of the all. The all is just conscious, intelligent, conscious mind. That's it. It is not something to worship or to deify. Do you know about Mary? Mary who? You have to explain that one more. Yes, emotions are just a frequency. Emotions are nothing more than a frequency. And we respond and react to those frequencies. The best thing is to respond to a frequency and stop reacting to frequencies. The more you respond to a frequency, the more you control that frequency. And that's all emotions are. Emotions are to be controlled. Even the emotion of love. You want to get into a bad relationship? Don't control your emotion of love. And you will find yourself in a bad relationship. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one who on here who are living experience of allowing emotions of love to make bad decisions in your life. Oh, 30 minutes. If you like to meet up in Wilmington, John, over the weekend, we'll be there Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Just instant message me and we can see what we can do. And as Dwayne is saying, we met up at a cigar lounge. I am more apt to meet somebody at a cigar lounge than anywhere else. Oh, you're in Whitesville? You know, I crack a joke every time I pass Whitesville. Like, I wonder if Whitesville is just filled with white people. No. If you understand Hermeticism and alchemy, then you would understand that, yes, they placed the idea on the god Hermes and the god Thoth and combined them together when they Hellenized them. But nowhere in the understanding of Hermetic alchemy are you to worship Thoth or Hermes. They are not gods to be worshipped. That's the thought of a person when they first enter into the idea of Hermetic alchemy. But when you actually dig into the information and dig into the philosophy of it, you come to realize that there is no worship of Thoth or Hermes. That those are just, as far as you can consider them, would be as a sage or a master. But they are something that you are looking to obtain the same level. Hermes of Thoth was not trying to keep you below them and to worship them. So there is no worship of Hermes of Thoth. If a person claims to be Hermetic or if a person claims to be Hermetic or an alchemist and they say that they worship Hermes of Thoth, they got a long way to go. Now, wait a minute. I'm from Jersey originally. I didn't know that. Didn't know what. In some ways, religion has been beneficial to some people's lives, but overall, it isn't beneficial to a person in general because they draw their hope success from the outside force rather than from themselves. Exactly. I'm not saying that religion can't benefit a person individually. It can. But on a whole, no. But the outside inside that the art of being was coming from Marcus is the fact that's the second law, the law of correspondence. As above, so below, as within, so without. That we are the microcosm of the macrocosm. that whatever happens in the above happens in the below. So whatever happens in your lower conscious state happens in your higher conscious state. The goal is to be able to achieve a state of being where you're constantly in your higher conscious state as high as you can within this matter plane of vibration. There are going to be some levels that you're just not going to get because you're trapped right now in this matter state. And you can only go so far. Once you alleviate your consciousness from this matter state, then you will just be in another situation where you're looking for higher and lowers. But it's never a worship of a deity in any of those states. I mean, the ant would worship the boot and see the boot as this god that if they don't act right towards the boot, then the ant will get crushed. So the ant tries to act right to the boot. That's the state of religion. But Hermeticism has no states like that. The difference, I like this one. You know, when I first started learning this, is actually was in the Marine Corps, the difference between responding and reacting, right? But so reacting is when you allow for someone else's will to cause you to do something that's purely reactionary for trying to save your ass. To respond to a situation is for you to see the will that someone's trying to place on you, but responding by your own will to change the outcome, to change it to your desired outcome. Now, in leadership training in the Marine Corps, this is the situation of, okay, we're being attacked, and all we're going to do is just shoot back, shoot back, shoot back, shoot back. No plan, no instruction. We're just shooting back, shooting back, shooting back. But when we respond, we evaluate the angles of fire and we evaluate the terrain, and then we seek out the most opportunist way for us to win this confrontation. That's responding. So when you respond to something, it is not out of fear. Reacting is out of fear. Responding is out of conscious, logical thought. Yeah, just let me know what your availability is, if you have any, and if you have some availability, we make it work. All right, I got way behind again, but not too far behind, just somewhere behind. Yeah, and in reacting rather, the root chakra is associated with feelings of safety, security, and stability. Each chakra corresponds to specific emotional qualities. That's one of the reasons why I like to use the chakra system, because it's easy to explain, right? It's very easy to explain, and it helps you to develop that consciousness of not being a reactive person, but being a responding person, because you gain control over the negative side of any emotional pole, right? So as you gain control over them and able to polarize yourself to the higher consciousness, then it allows you to live in that state of being. Yeah, and people do worship Hermes, but those people, and people can worship anything. Worshiping, and no disrespect to anybody, but to me, I find equal with worshiping Hermes, who was a messenger of the gods and a scribe of the gods. So was Thoth, a messenger of the gods, a scribe of the gods, and both of them. And Thoth then went on to more the wisdom. That worshiping the messenger is like worshiping the Holy Spirit or worshiping Muhammad. You're not supposed to worship those things, even in those religions. It's not the messenger, but it's the message. So as you grow in Hermeticism, you focus on the message, not the messenger. You know, Instead of don't kill the messenger, you don't worship the messenger. And that's all Hermes or Thoth are in this framework. They're just messengers. They're not to be worshiped. And people do, because for some reason, and whether people are saying that it's genetic or not, cultural or not, humans have this worship gene, as they call it, that they feel like they need something to worship. I don't need, as you grow in the understanding of Hermeticism and alchemy, you come to realize that you don't need anything to worship, that nothing requires worship. If something requires worship, it's not worthy of your worship. I said, look up Columbus County crime rates. Okay. Yeah. Folks worship Tupac Biggie, actual worship. Even heard the term pour out a little liquor is a form of homie worship. Now, pouring libations for the dead is an old thing. But the biggest one I've seen is, I thought it was a joke. I literally thought it was a joke. But this whole Church of Bay worshiping Beyonce, I thought it was a freaking joke. I did not realize that that was a real thing, that there are people out there who worship Beyonce. And I was like, that's some foolishness on a whole nother level. Whole nother level. If the roster is right, then he came. Right. Because that would be Haile Selassie, right? Let me skip down. I'm skipping down to the bottom, so I'm gonna miss much stuff. I like to tell y'all when I'm skipping down so you don't get mad at me. And yeah, I think that a lot of people do worship Muhammad more so than they worship Allah. Because you should be able to talk shit about Muhammad if you're actually worshiping Allah. I should be able to say, you should be able to stand in the middle of Saudi Arabia and like, fuck Muhammad. You're going to get killed. But you should be able to say that if they truly worship Allah. I don't know what magic mirror is. Does anybody know what magic mirror is? Or what mirror magic is? Oh, I remember something about that a while back. Shit. I'm sure somebody else, probably Illumi was mirror magic. I know you know. This is one reason why there are a lot of people who worship the Satan, because the Satan never lied according to the Bible. He didn't lie. Say, why not? If you're famous, you'll have these jokers worship you too. I can't with her. Ah. So you're saying mirror magic is beauty rituals to keep yourself useful. And you know, there's been a lot of different. What was it? If you bathe in milk of a baby cow or a brand new cow, some shit like that, and it was drinking the blood of a gladiator or drinking the blood of a virgin. There's been so many beauty magic, youth magic rituals. Oh, happy early birthday to Nikki. Nikki, a little youngin'. I'm 52, so I can call you a youngin. Nikki, a youngin. But happy early birthday, born day, as I like to say. Now, and their chosen people are the people of every religion. You ever notice that, Starseed? That every religion, the people who created that religion are always the chosen people. Whether it's the Zoroastrian, Islam, Buddhism, Indus, uh, they're always the chosen people. Right. See, Nikki? She's talking some, I guess. See? Even Debbie agrees. You're a baby. Nah, I ain't gonna call you a baby. But you're a youngin'. You're 42. It's one of those I can say, remember when we used to do when this or that happened, and you'd be like, what? I was 3 years old. Yeah. It's kind of like when me and Angie be talking. I'm like, yeah, you know, when I was in Desert Storm, and she's like, I think I was in 9th grade or 8th grade. I'm like, good Lord, I'm a grown ass man. And you up here talking about how you in high school and shit. The magic mirror should not be done, in my opinion. It comes back to you. Uh, so in the mirror, the consequences can be double or quadruple. I don't know. When I look at what people do magic rituals, all I say is that you just know what the hell you're doing, because what you're doing is putting your own energy out there to match up with universal energies. And if you fucking around and don't know what you're doing and you ain't strong enough, you need to leave it alone. But if you're strong enough and you can control it, go for what you know. Because at the end of the day, for me, is energy is just energy manipulation. Just different energy manipulations for me. Shit, stuff moving fast. But I see there's a couple of comments about God's chosen people, and like Art of Being is saying that anyone can be God's chosen people if they choose. He opens that to everyone, every race. Um, but yes, in the line of Abraham. But see, that would be being specific. There are like one of the reasons why I do like Hermetic alchemy, because there are no chosen people ever in any instance. There's no such thing as a chosen people. You yourself are chosen if you choose yourself. So what? Let's not degrade people. Boy, I'm telling you, I'm gonna go get Nikki's husband. I need to talk to him. She be killing me. Let's not call out people like that. Um, so it said, mirrors have you seen one thing and the world seeing the truth in more ways than one. Like, to me, mirrors fall into that same category as above, so below, as within, as without. Um, you can look in the mirror and see yourself, but can you see your true self? Um, I did once in a while. Once back in the day for a while. What was that stone? It's a stone. What's the? It's the stone that makes the black glass mirror. I forgot what that stone is called. Not onyx, I don't think, but it's just, and you're supposed to see shit. But then I realized all I was seeing was my inner self. She started. Well, I don't know who the she is, and don't tell me who the she is, because I'm not scrolling back up here. Roland, thank you for bringing it in there. Roland said again, morals without religion, indeed one can, because one does and has. Tell me what not to do is working. Boy, I can't tell you, y'all too much, too much for me. Oh shit, it's 4:14. I gotta be out the house real soon. I gotta run. Gotta go see the mama lady. I've never seen that one before. Wait a minute, I clicked the wrong thing. Happy thanks to mama to give birth to you day. Obsidian, thank you, Angelina. Obsidian. Yeah, I was doing some self perspective things um, back in 2018. Was it 2018? Yeah, 2018 and 2019, and I was using an Obsidian mirror and realized a lot of things about myself. Yep, Black Obsidian. But look here, people, because I have to be somewhere by 5 o'clock. And the last couple of times I was supposed to be there by 5 o'clock, I was 5, 10, 8 minutes late. And even being 5, 10, 8 minutes late, I had to speed. I had to go fast like a demon. I will not be late today. Even though y'all be getting. How many who use magic mirror actually turn that mirror on themselves? Snow White mirror on the wall. You know it's not mirror on the wall. You know it actually says magic mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest of them all? It doesn't say mirror. But yeah, the it should be the mirror is looking for me. It was looking and seeing myself, and some of the things I didn't like. So I had to work on it. Oh no, sir, no, sir, no, sir, no. My kids and Angelina kids are all grown. We don't get kids from school. But yeah, as long as it works for you, anything that works for you, keep doing. But so you're gonna hold me to what, Marcus? So this is what we're doing. I'm going out. Well, we're not having shows on Fridays, Mondays, and Fridays anymore, and it's one of the reasons why, because there's going to be a lot of traveling on Mondays and Fridays. So I'll just be dropping a bunch of videos on Mondays and Fridays. I'll be dropping some videos over the weekend, of course, every day, like I normally do for the most part. Yep, and I can't be late. So we're going to we got a couple of things that we need to take care of. One of those things, I need you guys to go and like Angelina's page. Really, did you know? Our travel channel that we just started called Eat, Sip, and Smoke Travels. Go like those pages, follow those pages. Continue to share this page. I appreciate it. It makes the algorithm grow. It makes the algorithm grow and go so that we can do this. Some people have sent me a message saying that they're ready to be on the committee to help put this goddamn on retreat together. So if you're interested in helping building for us to do a retreat this late spring, well, no, this fall, next fall, the fall is coming, let me know. And if you're interested just in going and being there, let me know, because I want to make sure we got numbers. We need, I want at least at minimum 10 people. I think we should have a hell of a lot more, but at least 10 people to come. So I want y'all to think about that, contemplate that, get your money right, because you got to get your flights and all that bullshit, you know. So where is it playing? It's going to be in the Southeast. It's going to be in the Southeast. Most likely on the outskirts of Georgia, somewhere like Helen, Georgia, or somewhere in natural. More than likely early fall, that August, September, early October timeframe. So that way we'll get a lot of people get a lot of get time to know everything. Anybody going to Colorado yet, Brian? Brian B. Where are you located, Thomas? Can I bring reefer? I don't care. I would not. Look, I'm gonna tell y'all something. Everybody gonna sign. In order to come, everybody gonna sign some paperwork that I am not responsible for your health, for anything you do. I'm not responsible for none of that. Oh, damn, you're gonna drive from Canada? Okay. So if you bring some weed, some shrooms, whatever, I am not responsible for none of that at all. That's all on you. There will be, I forgot what that's called, what that paperwork is called, but we will have it. So, because, hey, Thomas, we got to talk about that, Thomas. Thomas, me and you got to have a conversation about that, Thomas. Oh, it's Echo. Okay, got you. Yeah, we got to have a conversation about that one right there. Art of being you laughing, but I'm serious about that. Let me tell you the reason why, even though I put a video out today, said that I am ready to push into going deeper into teaching Hermetic alchemy. One of the things that has kept me away from going deep and teaching and really gathering people who are of like mind is the fact that I never wanted to be responsible for other people. I don't. I didn't. But I decided I will. So I will put in place some things to say that you Nikki get high and fall off a cliff. It ain't my fault. Did Jordan Cigar Lounge invite women? Oh, hell yeah. About 30% of my customers were women at the Cigar Lounge. No, here in Atlanta, yeah, women in the Cigar Lounge is big in Atlanta. One, the mature woman has realized that a place to find a good mature man is at a cigar lounge. And see, it's shit like that. That's another reason why y'all gonna sign one of them documents. Because we walking through, you get bit by a snake, a bear come and chase your ass, and you the slowest one. Because all I gotta do is outrun the slowest person. It is not my fault. It is not my fault. But for real, it is 4:23. I gotta get out here and because even though I only gotta go about 15 minutes, I'd rather get there early and sit in the car and make a couple of videos before we start our evening. So y'all have a great day. I will see you on video. John, hit me up if you and let me know what your availability is, and we can meet up. All right. It's North Georgia. It's gonna be some, but they might be out there. But hit me up, John, and I will talk to y'all. I'll see y'all on video for the rest of the weekend. However you do this weekend, whether it's about Christmas, it's about Jesus, or for me, it's just about family. Enjoy your holiday break. If it's just about being off of work, enjoy your break. Like I said, I'll still be shooting videos down the line. So go on my Facebook and YouTube page, catch all those videos, especially on Facebook. I like Facebook better. The algorithm works better on Facebook. But enjoy your holiday break however you do it. Happy winter solstice. Merry Christmas. What else they got going on? Happy Saturnalia. Happy Kwanzaa. What's the Jewish one? What's the Jewish one? I don't know, the Jewish one, whatever that one is. Happy that. Happy all that. Just enjoy your families, enjoy your time, love on yourself more than anybody else loves on you, because that's vital to your Hanukkah. Thank you. That's vital to your growth. So as always, if anybody on here produces paraphernalia merchandise like shirts and cups and hats and shit like that, hit me up in the on my instant messenger on Facebook and let me know, and we'll see. I'm not guaranteeing that we'll work something out, but let's see if we can work something out, because I do want to start creating merchandise. So always remember, well, hit me up, Nikki, in the instant messenger. But always remember, you got to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibrations, and I'm out.